I ran a service-based agency for 6 years, scaled it to 500K ARR, and got acquired this year in 2024. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it through a series of really information-rich videos. These videos are definitely not going to get a ton of views, but if you watch them, you're going to have a very clear path on how to run a high-margin agency and position your company for exit. So I'm making these videos because I think most agencies really struggle to get clients, they're not sure how to scale, and they definitely don't have an acquisition on the radar. And that's what I'm hoping to solve for everybody watching. I want to show you that an agency can scale and you can turn it into a valuable asset that demands a high multiple on exit. These videos are obviously free, but if you would like one-on-one help, you can join my school community linked below where you can learn from dozens of other agency and SaaS entrepreneurs. So let's get into it. I made a Miro board that covers exactly what I want to talk about in this series. Each one of these tiles represents one or multiple videos. So like I said, it's going to be really information rich. These are all the tactics that I've used to attract clients. We're going to start with the easy stuff like cold email, how to use softwares like SuperSend, Apollo, Instantly. Then we'll move to social media broken up into organic and paid. So on the organic side, how do you set up a chatbot DM? What landing pages should you send your traffic to? And then on the paid side, how do you run ads inside of Meta, TikTok, and Google just to attract leads? Moving over to sales, we're going to show you how to create low ticket and high ticket offers. So building out the value ladder for your agency. We'll show you things to create, such as your free lead magnets, your paid lead magnets, some hourly consulting, which can be a lead into your high ticket offers, how to build your sales deck so that it positions the customer to actually close, how to structure your calls and your deals, and then of course, how to set up your high ticket offers. So things like pricing psychology and sales visualization. This can help for upsells later on down the line. Then we'll move into onboarding. An important piece here is going to be automating. Onboarding should be something that happens so seamlessly. It should be really easy for your customer, and it should be very easy for your team to be able to take them from onboarding over to the fulfillment step. So we'll talk about automation first and foremost, and then we'll look at how do we secure client contracts, what you should include in your onboarding survey, how to get access to the client's assets. So things like their Meta account, their Google account, how to collect assets. So this would be the creatives that you're using in the service, how you should communicate and the style of communication you have with your customers, what softwares you can use to set up reporting. And then, like I said, automation, this is going to be a big piece. Jumping to fulfillment, this is really going to vary depending on the type of service that you offered. For myself, we were a traditional paid advertising and email marketing agency. So we have a ton of experience on Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, email marketing inside of Klaviyo and HubSpot. And then a really special software is Stammer AI. This is how to set up a white label SaaS business, which we're going to cover in depth. And for this portion, we're bringing the founder of Stammer in to talk about how to set up a white label SaaS agency. Next, we'll cover retention. Like I said, I've been running my agency for 6 years and our average retention was 24 months. So we kept clients for a really long time. I broke up retention to do a few sections that I think matter most. First and foremost is going to be performance. If the service is not very high quality, the client's certainly not going to stick with you. But aside from that, you want to think about your communication frequency, how often you're touching base with the client. A lot of this can be automated. What tangible assets you can give the customer. So things like a reporting dashboard can actually go a really long way because the customer feels like they're in control. How to send performance studies. When you ask for case studies and get reviews from the customer, this is really important because this can fuel new customer acquisition. How to upsell your customers. And this feeds into the last sales step, which is sales visualization. I'll talk about that in a second. And then how to negotiate contract terms with your clients. Moving on to referrals, this is one of my favorite topics because over half of our customers came from referrals, either from past clients or from other agency partners. So we're going to talk about how you set up a proper incentive structure so that your customers and agencies are incentivized to send new business to you, how to get referrals from clients, and then how to get referrals from agencies. And then a big indent here is joining an agency referral network. This was really instrumental for my growth. Moving on to hiring. This is something I don't see enough agencies talking about, but how do you build out your organization chart and then schedule your hiring priorities? So for me, one of our first hires was a Facebook media buyer. The second is a Google media buyer. And the third one was a project manager for communication. Every agency is going to have a different priority list of who you hire for first, second, and third. And setting that list ahead of time is going to save you a lot of time and energy when bringing on new people. Then I'll show you how I created job postings, how we set up our 3-part interview process, which was extremely effective, what we used for competency tests to test the skills of our prospects, how we set up a compensation structure, and how this varied from contractors versus W-2 or full-time employees. Next, we're going to briefly cover financial management. I'll talk about the softwares that we use, the best accounting and invoicing softwares, how to stay compliant depending on different countries that you're hiring from. This was important for me because we had employees in Canada, US, Pakistan, Philippines, India, and Spain. Next, I'll show you how I used a good old-fashioned spreadsheet to track our revenue source and owner's draw. The owner's draw portion is really important because it will show any prospective buyers what your profit margin is with your salary and what your margin is when you exclude owner's draw. This was critical in my case because our margin as an agency was about 30%, but when I removed owner's draw, the margin was closer to 70%. So making this delineation is really important. Finally, we'll show you the project management tool that we built internally in Notion that made it so much easier to scale to that 500K. So things like assigning staff members to video SOPs, how you go about creating new video content to document your processes every month, how to sync your client and task tracking, set deadlines, and communicate that performance to the client. How do you sync your onboarding with your client CRM? How do you track time for every project? How do you offboard customers? This one is really important because not every new client is going to be the right fit for you 3 or 6 months later. And then how do you communicate about every project internally? This is one of my favorite topics to cover. I'm really looking forward to going through this one. And next up, exiting, which is probably the topic that everybody is most excited about. I'm going to show you how to systemize your entire agency, partially in the project management section here, how to determine your pricing and revenue multiple, how to create your company listing, how to define your unique selling proposition, how to negotiate client contracts before you create the listing, which can have a big impact on price determination, how to vet various buyers, how to field buyers, and of course, secure an offer, which goes into reviewing your letter of intent, negotiating contract terms, looking at your payout schedule, transitioning your assets to the new agency, and of course, the difference between an asset or a share purchase agreement. As you can see, there's a lot to cover, so I'm going to release one video every week doing a deep dive on each one of these topics. Of course, you can follow along for free. But if you would like one-on-one personalized guidance on how to scale your agency and get acquired, hit the link below to join our school community. Thank you and see you in the next video.